You haven't failed. You're a late bloomer. You spent decades building something that others can't even see. While others were busy climbing ladders, you were looking at the ladders thinking to yourself, why are the ladders even there to begin with? And if you have that feeling of being behind, that's normal. That's not a failure. That's not a defect. That's there by design. You spend decades preparing yourself for what was coming next. You spend decades preparing yourself for your second half of life, for your second act. So look what happens now. The conventional wisdom says that life is a straight line. And by mid 25, we are in our careers. By mid 30s, we have our houses, our bank accounts. By 40, 45, our social standing. And if you haven't hit any of these marks or all of them, then you're falling behind. Something is wrong. You're doing life wrong. And what I just shared with you is pretty much sums up my life. I've tried everything in life. I've worked in construction with my father while I was still in school. Then I went into natural bodybuilding. I became a competitive natural bodybuilder. I was a fitness instructor. I was a coach. I had a bakery. I was a bakery owner. I went into self-defense and I was an instructor. I even graduated a master's degree that I never used in my life. I was in corporate. I was a corporate employee. I've tried everything. And while I was trying all of these things, I had all of these various interests and passions and hobbies. I've done music, acting, singing, dancing. I've facilitated events for others as a facilitator. I can't even think of things I haven't done. While all along I was reading a lot, I was contemplating my life, and I was just exploring my interests. And none of these connected at all. I couldn't find a connection between them or among them. And for outside observers, my life must have looked very confused and stagnant. I probably looked like a generalist to everybody, and by all accounts, I failed in life. I failed in my businesses. My bakery didn't succeed. I failed at it. My self-defense business didn't succeed. I never worked as an engineer, my master's degree. I left corporate life early. By all accounts and measures, by conventional measures, I failed at life. And definitely it seemed that way to me as well. All along I was just wondering, why can't I just be normal? Why can't I just latch onto something like everybody else and just go with it and become extremely good at it and succeed by way how everybody measures success? What's wrong with me? But what I didn't know was I was building something deep underground. I was building my root system. I was building a massive amount of knowledge, of wisdom, of personal experience. Imagine a bamboo for 5 years just looks like a little shoot, and for the outside observer it's like nothing's happening, and you water it and you take care of it and nothing's happening for 5 years, and then all of a sudden in year 5, for just 6 weeks, it shoots up 80 feet. Now, did that bamboo take 6 weeks to grow, or did it take 5 years to grow? And as I'm describing this, you're probably finding yourself within the same lines that I'm describing. But realize that all these decades of stagnation, they weren't there for nothing. What you are doing in these decades of failure, you are dismantling, you are taking apart. What were you taking apart? You are taking apart ways of thinking that didn't fit you. You were taking apart an identity that wasn't meant for you, an identity of a normal conventional achiever that was not meant for you. And definitely we live in the era of the fast achiever. And if you don't achieve very fast, that there is something wrong with you. But think about it this way. That first half of life, you spent clearing your throat, preparing for the speech that you're about to give. If you think of yourself as a computer, your boot up time is much slower. Why? Because you're running complex software. You're not a calculator. All of these passions that you've tried, all of these interests, all of these skills, you had to try all of this. You had to fail at being normal so that you can succeed at being yourself. So if you're looking at your life thinking, what the hell have I been doing all of these decades, and you're feeling like you've wasted your life, please stop judging your timeline. Stop apologizing for taking longer to mature and to become who you are. What if all of these decades you took to build the skills, to make all of these painful detours, to explore your passions, your interests, what if all of these years are about to snap into place? What if all of this is making you the unique person that you are right now? We're now moving into a new world. The old ways of being, the conventional ways, they're quickly becoming obsolete. We're moving into a new world, into a new future where the currency of the future is pattern recognition. It's being able to deal with complexity, to draw lines between far-reaching dots. It's being able to make sense of what most people can't make sense of. The new currency of the world is deep empathy. The new currency of the world is compassion. It's authenticity. And you've been preparing for that all along while taking decades to think that you're falling behind. Several months ago, I felt the need and the calling to restart my YouTube channel because I needed to express my deepest thinking. I needed to talk about meaning, especially in the second half of life. And if I didn't respond to that, I wouldn't be able to express. But the only reason why I can express the way I'm expressing right now is because I went through all what I went through. I went through exploration, feeling behind, feeling like there's something fundamentally wrong with me, that I'm messed up fundamentally, that I've wasted my life. All of this is snapping into place for me right now. And the reason why I can talk about these things is because I went through what I went through. So I'm not apologizing for my timeline. You shouldn't either. So the past decades, those were my silent years. All these years of trying different things, of failing, all these years of confusion, all of these years of feeling scattered. What I recently realized is that what I've been doing is I've been preparing myself for the second half of life, for my second act. I've been preparing for my self-actualization. I've been preparing for my individuation, the way Carl Gustav Jung called it. And all of these years of failure, I've been building my wisdom and my knowledge and my deep experience. And honestly, I now have so much appreciation and compassion for those who are just like me, the late bloomers, because they've been taking longer to mature and to prepare themselves for that second half of life. But how about you? You haven't failed. You've been merely growing roots while everybody else has been growing leaves. See you next week.